Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Crossy, and this is the Crossy Cars Twitch channel. Thank you very much for joining me, and that was a little bit of panic trying to get everything up and running. Got myself into the game, got the stream up and running, and then bye-bye internet for about 10 minutes, which is always good fun. But we got there in the end, rolling with the punches, as we always tend to do. And as seems to be the pattern, had a whole schedule planned out for streaming this week. The first week back for 2021 and the first week of Season 36 of ESEA. And what's actually panned out is everything pretty much has gone to pieces. I think 3 of the games have had to be rescheduled, including what I plan to watch tonight. And that will teach me a lesson for trying to organise a little bit too early. But jumped on this game, Team SkinBaron and 4Elements Esports. Main reason for choosing this game, it's on train. And after a couple of shocking nights' sleep and being tired and a little bit rusty still after a couple of weeks away from the mic, I wanted to get on to by far my favourite map in the map pool. As 4Elements trying to go on the retake on CT's side. Fishy coming up, looking towards Electric. I think maybe knows where this player is, and that's exactly right. They have their headshot potential with the pistol if they can make it happen, using the train for cover. Bomb ticking away in the meantime, and Abu able to bring it home in the end. A little dicey, but able to make it happen nonetheless. First round on the board for Team SkinBaron on the T side. You see Fishy getting into a bit of trouble. Nails Abu right in the chest with the deagle, but you need a headshot with one of those to have a chance. Cyclone able to finish off the job. That's going to slow down SkinBaron's roll over towards the B site. A couple of AKs in hand. So TSB will be looking to use those. Use their weapon advantage. You know, even if they're second to the punch against those scouts, unless the shots are absolutely on point, they may still be able to do damage with them. 4Elements pretty much full committing over towards the B site right now. TSB instead wrapping all the way around in towards the A site. Being a little more cautious than they need to be, but I guess they're expecting the 2-2 split. It's fairly standard. Also sticking together, making sure they don't get caught out by the YOLO push from toilets, etc. Try and just get in from behind with the guns if you can. Bomb plant down, going to be a tough retake for 4Elements to make. They're not trying to rush this either, meaning that TSB can get themselves into the positions that they want, hold the angles they want, and there shouldn't be any real surprises for them to deal with coming up here. And retrieved a Galil in the meantime, so it's just going to be a case of save weapons, carry them through into the next round. Probably upgrade a little bit. TSB will most likely keep in hands what they've got. So depending on how the money gets bounced around, could upgrade a couple of these, get some M4s in the mix. Probably have pitched them quite nicely against against the MAC-10 and the Galil at least, but instead they've gone for upgraded pistols. Everyone buying down to about 2.5K. It's going to leave the money available for a full spend going into the 4th round. See Fishy under pop. Probably going to get swarmed by a couple of players in that position. So I'm not holding out too much hope for him to have to do any serious work from there. Danica with the support role, throwing in the utility. Has an opportunity for the guy on train. I said Shags is able to pick that one up. See now players spilling forward, trying to take out the CT players. Danica has to spin, gets a chance for the second over towards ramp, does some good damage, but doesn't pick up the frag. Shag's able to do that, and he'll say thank you very much for the assist, leaving Cyclone last man with multiple players left to find. Nothing doing, down he goes, and it is TSB taking a 3-0 lead. Pretty strong stuff from them. Now we watched Inferno last night, and going on to train today, another old school map that those from the days of Source will remember playing, and all the way back to 1.6 that I can remember, maybe even further back than that actually. That's one of those old school maps like Inferno, and much like Inferno, it can play both ways. You can lock it down on CT side and make it very, very difficult for an opposition to do any real work. But the key is what we're seeing right here, right now, the push onto A. Being able to keep the crossfire is so easy for players to come spilling out on the T side. And if you don't cover each other into those angles, they can swarm and pick you off one at a time. And kind of just gets isolated and stuck in kill shoots. And CT is the typical map as Ponysun picks up a hat-trick. Nearly had a chance to bring that clutch home. And so didn't get that quite as much stock as it deserved. 4Elements do put their first round on the board and looked pretty strong. Ponysun, if he brought that home, would have been a bit of individual brilliance from him, but 4Elements generally played that quite well. Sat back, held their angles. Yeah, you can find if you let a T side take full control of the main area, there's the CTs that end up getting caught in crossfires, and setting crossfires is pretty much the standard play that you would reserve for CT side. This is the second game in an action-packed week of Counter-Strike on this channel. So if you're interested in watching more ESEA, then feel free to drop it a follow. Games every day bar Friday. As there was a schedule released on my social media, Shags again seems to be the entry fragger, making some good work from up at RCN, now coming in from the ramp, able to find Fishy and Cyclone from the other end, really the CT end of upper. Does some good work, gets himself a couple of kills from that position, but it's Chewy, last man standing against two, Ponysun and Shags to find. Two players that have shown they're pretty adept at picking up frags. Need to pick up the bomb though with 25 seconds left to go. Force a mini reset really, and Chewy able to find Ponysun. Most importantly, that's the bomb taken down, so Shags has to go for the hunt really, does exactly that. Down goes Chewy, and that is going to be SkinBaron back in the ascendancy, taking it to 4-1. And as I say, plenty of ESEA action coming up this week. I am going to be joined by a co-host from tomorrow onwards, and that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. A couple of games for me to get extra crispy though, and it feels like a little of that is needed, just a bit rusty. But yeah, game tomorrow, 8 PM UK time, if you're interested. It may not be the slated game that was planned with how things are changing around, as Abu comes out from main, doing some seriously good work from there. They'll be asking questions about how Rixor was able to get in from main without any of the guys coming out of pop checking in that area. Nicely done. He wasn't able to grab himself a weapon and cause any more problems. SkinBaron will be sticking the bomb plant down. And pending any disasters, this should be their 5th on the board. Going well, pacing well on this T side. As I was saying, CT side of train, it can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how it goes. And it's one of those maps that is less prepared for, I guess, in the map pool than some of the others, alongside Nuke. Tends to not be played by that many teams. Teams that have got a strong AWP presence, a strong aggressive AWP presence that wants to go and look for picks on both sides really, and can be flexible and move about the map. Tend to have an absolute field day on train as Danica are able to pick up Cyclone. Nice work there again as TSB seem pretty adept at getting the first frag. Drawing first blood in these rounds, that makes it so much easier. Seems pretty obvious, but it's either one angle not getting covered or one player having to rotate, getting drawn out of position. And sometimes a pick can be the perfect delay fake. Rixor with the AWP, able to find RCN. Trying to dig in as Danica goes for the refrag. Does pull that off as well. One of the real key things that you need to make work if you want to play Counter-Strike at any kind of level really is to be able to refrag. And well displayed there. Abu, I think, got good information. 2 players from 4Elements pushing through into main, and they may be able to work behind. They do find Shags, the danger man, as he makes his way across from Electric Box. Ponysun will be able to get the plant, has the information on at least one player in from main. The second hasn't shown their hand just yet. They may be tempted though on the angle. That flash could give it away. It's actually flushed. Abu all the way out. Fishy though makes a play, and now 4Elements make their advance onto the bomb site. 2 players available to find. Danica trying to spam through the smoke. Very difficult to be able to pull that one off as Fishy finds Abu, and that is the AWP falling away. Got to be saved. And that's a little tough. Tough choice, really. Didn't really look around for where other weapons would have been. May have been inclined to ditch the AWP because one smoke causes untold amounts of problems. You have to be quite adept at just knowing and anticipating where people are going to be and trying to shoot through the smoke. You can't just pot shot it as such on that front. We get our first pause here. Guessing this is just a chance to talk things over early doors. Finances a little stretched for Team SkinBaron as they go for a buy. First look at the scoreboard here as well. Fairly even. No real runaways. Ponysun's score helped a little bit by his hat-trick. Shags has been probably standout player on the server so far with the frags that he's made. And the goal, yeah. You want a one-for-one trade out of the pop dog, or the pop dog jump that they worked there that we saw unfold. Got the frag with nothing really coming out of it. Now they're going for the trade. End up being a 2-for-2 trade in the end. Nice work from Cheery. Heads up play, getting in and getting aggressive, and Ricks are able to find Ponysun. Not really helped by the flash in the end. With it all to do, narrowly had the chance to get a frag, but was taken down in the end. Couple of heads-up plays coming in from the 4Elements guys over towards A. You know, some good controlled aggression from Fishy, I think it is, on a couple of occasions. That time getting into Pop. I think before just pushing through into main. Keeping TSB on their feet a little bit as they go for the run boost. Nothing doing, no information. Opportunity now if Danica wants to be on point. Nick Cyclone. Fizzes a bullet past his ear. RCN took a dig to the back of the head from their own teammate and then caught a bit of utility as well, but lives to fight another day. And two players working in from Ivy. While three, including the bomb, said look over towards B. And the plan was just to try and throw a bit of misdirection. So now try and work over towards the A side, but about 15-20 seconds too late for that one as the AWP are able to fight. I guess a little bit of information that there's two players over towards the B site with their standard setup. If they're able to get far enough into the site to pick up on that, of course, but nothing too much to write home about as Rez able to pick up. Shooting from the hip with the AUG. Definitely not a situation that I like to find myself in with that gun. See the AUG and the Krieg falling away a lot more. It had a bit of a resurgence for a while. Little drop in price made it a little more of a viable weapon. Cyclone could be in a world of hurt here. Three players making their way in towards Ivy. Maybe a technical issue unless he's... unless he's doing that to get sound cues from the window. Works a point, they're able to trade out. CSB again find themselves line in the sand, drawn over towards Ivy. Ponysan went fast, trying to catch him unawares. Position now known, but he's brought himself into a 1v1 sitch. Bomb plant going to come in as well. That's $800 in the coffers available for his team to use. And with things not really going that way over the last 3 or 4 rounds and having to rebuy everything and press on, they will be pleased with that, even on the T side where it's much easier to get an economy rolling. Ponysan's actually brought it home. Fair play to him. So I think maybe expecting that the AWP would have fallen away into Con. I'm trying to get information on the plant as well. And Ponysan able to bring it home with the AWP, pings it over to a teammate. Ted shifts up for the rifle. Doesn't like single frags. As Rixor taking an interesting approach. Let's stick with him for this one as he gets one. That's a chance for a collateral as Fishy comes in to get the refrag and does exactly that. Just too many teammates and Terror's going en masse. Two players now spilling over though to try and deal with this, and Abu eats some bullets through the smoke. Trying to fire back on the tracer bullets as RCN again gets lit up as he makes his way across to the back of site. Does get the bomb plant. Chewy though working in from behind. This could be perfect if he times this well. Going to be 4Elements trading this back. Walks into Danica with the AWP, who can now get in and try and help out into the main bomb site. Make sure that all the angles are covered, and Rez maybe has an idea about that. Makes a move. Abu does find Cyclone. Maybe could stick the defuse. Only real hope, and Team SkinBaron keep things moving in their direction, 7-4. And just too many bodies up towards Pop Dog. I mean, that's not really a high percentage play to get in close quarters with the AWP. I think that is something that sets good AWPers apart from great AWPers, is how well they are able to work on the move. Did have a teammate for cover as they try and push through. Again, trying to challenge in this area. Abu and Shags picking up a couple of players each, maybe expecting that the fifth player won't be there as well. Got caught up in the molly and couldn't move in the end. Game given away as he taps away a single shot. Whether that was planned or not, I don't know. Opportunity to grab an AK though from a sleeping TSB player has gone, as has the opportunity for 4Elements to win half here as well. So Train first half, definitely going in favour of T-side. Interesting, and I think it's largely come down to a bit of individual brilliance from TSB players. Big fragging, a couple of important clutches. And then on CT side, you feel the squeeze of the economy so much more. So those couple of rounds, even though it is a round or two here and there, in terms of the economy, that can have an impact that rolls on for 2-3 rounds. This completely changes the complexion of the game when you've only got 15 to play with on each half. And TSB will be looking to hammer home this advantage. Again, we talk about economy. Chewy goes down, Rixor trades that one straight back. Talking of economy, not much left in the bank for 4Elements to work with if they aren't able to pick up the win here. Cyclone does get one. Danica trades back with the AWP. Flashed out, but that didn't matter. Gonna try and buy time. 45 seconds left to play. Gonna try and draw someone out if possible. Over towards Popdog. What a shot that is. Still doesn't have information on this last player. That would have been a hero shot if that one came off. No such luck, and 4Elements do live to fight another day. Another pause comes in. Another one of those situations, though, where a bit of individual flair from a TSB player could have hammered the whole thing home and put another round on the board for them. I pause, another chance to talk it out. And you see, despite picking up the win, economy absolutely shafted, as are their weapon choices. A couple of MP9s. So those can be useful situational weapons, especially if you get up close in main. So keep on board with Danica for a second here and see if that is exactly what happens. Does keep an AK for support, as so they're going to make their way in towards B. Again, MP9 close to the ramp or over by Coils. Not a bad position to be in, as Rez able to maybe deal with the two players from upper. Fishy gets one from the ramp, and then Fishy able to grab a second as well with the MP9. Only getting a 200% kill bonus as down they go to the AWP. Danica now having to get close quarters with that gun in hand. The Cyclone walking in from Cylinder Train. Maybe able to stop the bomb plant at the first time of asking, and does. Maybe could have just sprinted down the ramp. Would have exposed himself to the rest of the bomb site, and without really knowing where the Rixor is coming from, that could have been a problem. Both players absolutely lit up. So if he'd been a little more accurate with that nade. Who does best LeBron James impression and slam dunked it home, but it looks like he's played the angles well. Didn't hesitate as he got himself walking all the way around. As we see financially, as we go into the final round, Deegs and armor being favoured, upgraded pistols being favoured over any rifles. Understandable if you want to get anything going. In terms of breaking your way into a bomb site on T-side, you pretty much need some utility. whatever happens here, we're potentially looking for a close little game. TSB will have to be dialed in as far as their setup goes on CT. There's less opportunity for anyone to sort of go huge and clutch it out. Can be done, not impossible. You just tend to get more opportunities in general on T side on most maps. The push now comes in. Fishy lives to fight another day, using the bomb for cover. The bomb train, I should say, for cover. Cyclone doing some good work as well. As we see 4Elements do bring themselves in and bring themselves to within one. TSB, though, take an 8-7 lead as we get ready to go into the second half. An interesting one to try and analyse what happened there, because I don't think 4Elements really played that too badly, generally. Couple of rounds where maybe they got a little pushy and overextended, but as far as their CT setup, it was pretty much what you would expect it to see. Nothing too crazy, a little bit of aggression here and there, but nothing particularly risky. And when they did go for it, there was another player to back up, and all kind of made sense on paper. They set up their crossfires as well. Had their angles set for how they wanted to hold the main area, and they weren't caught out too many times by 4Elements players just sprinting out full speed out into the main area and catching them unawares. I think it's just a case of some big rounds from TSB players at times when they need it, bringing out a few clutches, and then that allowed them to play the economy game a little bit as well, and made it a lot tougher for 4Elements to bring it home. In terms of second half, I don't really know how to call it. It's a bit of a cop-out, but I'm half tempted to say that depending on how the pistol and the next two rounds go after that, if one team wins pistol, grabs the next couple as you'd expect, and then wins the next buy versus buy, it's practically theirs for the taking. Now the first rounds go for a 2-2 split though. Well, who knows? Just have to ride it out. So for those of you joining me tonight, thank you very much for watching. This is Crossy on the Crossy Cast channel. Going to be here on this channel for every day this week, aside from Friday for the first season of ESEA season 36. First game week, I should say, sorry. As we get the first couple of results in the books. We'll be joined by a co-caster tomorrow night and onwards, aside from scheduling. So we'll figure out how that's going to pan out on what we do on whose channel and when. Best way is to follow on Twitter at mcrossy12. I'll show it to you at the end on the screen before we call it for the night. Best way to follow me there. And then you'll get an update, regardless of which channel I'm on, if you want to watch some Counter-Strike as Pony Sun. First to go. CT swarming in as they try and go for this retake, TSB. Bumplight is tasty, but down goes Fishy. Three players continue on. It's going to be TSB opening up and extending their lead. I'll try and smash through the next couple of rounds here if they can as well, and try and get this thing finished as quickly as they possibly can. As we saw there, quite a comfortable plant towards the back of B. It's probably the safer bomb site if you just need a plant, but also one of the easier perhaps to retake as well. Less angles to... Oh. It's an interesting one, really. Both bomb sites have a lot of angles and a lot of things you can hide behind. I guess the best way I can say is that being close quarters, being a close site, you can get more done with less utility. Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. Now, if you want to get into A site on T site, unless you go fast into it, you need a whole shed load of utility really to be able to do that well. And retaking it is much the same way. On CT, you're probably committing quite a lot of utility early to slow down pushes in towards main or fast rushes from ramp, etc. You see, same kind of situation, bomb plant down. TSB well equipped though, they've got a full complement of weaponry. Zabu with a spray transfer from one to the other. No real firepower with the pistols in the hand of 4Elements. That's going to allow a couple of upgrades to come in. Galil retrieved as well. Galil a little more of a defensive weapon, I think. And kind of interesting that it's a T-side weapon, but it has more CT applications. Push coming in from Ivy. Maybe first chink in the armor for the TSB setup. Dewey able to get Ponysan and RCN with the Tech 9 in hand. Danica coming in, already got a player looking in their direction. Cyclone from Electric Box, just didn't have the firepower. TSB could nail this. You know, Danica actually had the protection and the distraction to be able to pick up that player over towards the barrier. Shags wasn't able to pick up his frag after walking through Ivy. Now the save going to be the way to go. I'll look at the scoreboard. Practically everyone on double figures aside from RCN. Pretty evenly matched across the server as well. It's also reflected quite nicely in the scores. 4Elements have the weapon advantage. Despite the finances being worse for wear, TSB going for the force here. Danica forcing with the AWP. Real sign of intent. Even though they won half, they didn't win half by much, so trying to force the victory ahead of time. Just may cause problems for them economically more than anything else. Might have to go on the clock. No real commitment, but now we see it coming in towards the main area. Shags gets one, has another couple of players around, gets the second, and that's the bomb dropped. That position will be called in. Danica moving in to try and protect the bomb. Risky situation, maybe walking out into the bomb site. But he's able to grab a second frag from there. So going for the force, protecting the AWP that got purchased. 2 frags with that AWP. And then a couple of extra guns able to be carried through. 4Elements are in a position where they could force a buy if they want to here with a couple of AKs and upgraded pistols, SGs, that kind of thing, or SMGs, sorry. That's exactly what they have gone for. From my maths, I think they could have got a second AK in the mix. Be a bit of a throwaway round. And the Molotov able to flush Danica off. Had 3 to choose from. In the end, tanked them all. Still under pressure, still making shots. No real right in that situation. Shag's able to use the facilities, walk around behind Cyclone and grab the final frag. Taking it to 12-8. Interesting situation that Danica found themselves in, and we'll ping over here just to have a look at it. So from this position, basically saw 3 players walking around, and in the same kind of situation, I've done it plenty of times. I see 2 or 3 players panic, spray around them, miss all of them. And that's pretty much what happened. But luckily, a couple of TSB teammates came in from different angles at the same time, caused a distraction, allowed Danica to actually pick off 2 of those players, and made it a lot easier then for Shags to grab the last man. He still had to worry about getting bomb plants, etc. Man, Shags has picked himself up another couple, showing in towards Ivy. Again, aggressive, but controlled. Just have a little look, a little poke. Got a few rounds to the good. I guess you could argue that the finances don't really allow you to throw a gun and a life away, but 4Elements struggling as well. Ponysun trying to do what he can and grabs himself 2 out of there, allowing for the AWP to clean up the last player. 13-8. TSB on a little bit of a roll here. A7, 1 out on arguably the tougher T side on Train. Now smashing through 5-1, forced 4Elements into upgraded pistols. Here into the 22nd round. Essentially, not too much left in the tank for this game as Ponysun going to be under fire again. Chance to pick up another couple. And has absolutely smashed. Collapse though from Danica the AWPer finds Rixor and Chewy as the bomb plant gonna come in. 4v3 in favour of TSB as they try to make this retake. Got an MP9 that may well just try and get in up close and personal. Abu finds one. RCN does get one. Gets a second as well. 200% kill bonus coming in once again from that gun. That's a little more money in the account. 13-8. And as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, no one really on the TSB side has much left in reserve. Ponysun will have to rebuy. That's going to put him down to practically 0. And in situations like that, even though it's going well, you're winning rounds on CT, you have to win them well. Keep your weapons in hand, keep as much up as you can, and save yourself having a rebuy, because the situation could easily run away from you if you are shafted financially and can't get your full spends in. Very quickly you can see 3-4 rounds as you work through the ecos and the part buys, and needs to be some tough choices to have to make as well. Danica finally shut down after putting a 20 bomb on the board, doing some good work with the AWP, particularly in this second half. That's over towards the B side. Not too much you can predict there. That AWP is pretty mobile. RCN going up into the window. You can maybe get away with that once per half. And that's exactly what they do. Rixor comes in, try to do some work, has a player underneath Hell. I think he knows. Giving that information to Chewy, he's going to try and make it happen. Instead, though, he gets taken down, and it's going to be Ponysun coming in to back up with the famous long range from the back of Ivy. That Molotov probably going to flush the AWPer out. Shanks has managed to dodge it for the most part. Now has to make a move, does move, knows where the remaining player is, drops the AWP out of hand. 15-8 on the board, and TSB are looking to bring this thing home. Practically a full spend, full head armor, a pretty full amount of utility. One Galil for Rixor. Making their way back over towards the B site. They've got themselves in and got site control. Well, they've done that in both sites, to be fair. Maybe feeling a little more confident about their ability to get into B. Maybe buoyed by the pick on the AWPer that they were able to get just the round before. And we're trying to work a little faster into it. Pony's starting to see him shifting up his position. Just going to try and play for time a little bit as players now come in from the ramp. He's got, I know it's Danica, sorry, picking up the AWP frag. As well, Pony-san posed a distraction. Players looking in his direction. RCN comes up, but Fishy lurking from behind. That's going to bring numbers in favour, and now he can join the reinforcements as they try and hold this off. Double AWPs in the hands of the CT, and I think they're just going to try and hold this if they can, as Danica with the LeBron James finds rest as he tries to get out of there. No such luck. And that's exactly that. 4Elements live to fight another day. One more round, maybe a couple of rounds, depending on how the financials work out. I think TSB will probably buy up as much as they can to support the double AWP. We do see M4s coming out. So it's pretty much going to be a full commit of resources into this next round, trying to bring it home. 5 AKs from 4Elements. So they'll be fine going into this one. Trying to get aggressive again, trying to take a leaf out of the 4Elements book when they go walking up close quarters with an AWP from B ramp. No rifle support this time though, that's the difference, and in the end nothing comes out of that, the sum total being the AWP that they committed all their money into spending on and protecting gets dropped within 10 seconds for no result. And 4Elements now buoyed by the relative success they've had at least getting into the bomb site. Holding it off has been the next issue. You see they're now pushing through it a little faster. Not allowing TSB to get quite as set. And if you do have an AWP in the mix, the further you can get towards the connector and CT spawn end, the closer quarters you are and the more that you're nullifying that advantage. RCN don't know if he's going to get the opportunity to upgrade to that AK that he's just dropped. I think almost definitely not. But he has dropped one out of the hands of the 4Elements side, and they will be able to rebuy that, but it'll take a drop, probably. As a pause comes in. Little chance to talk it over at a fairly pivotal moment. Priority number one for TSB is just make sure this doesn't run away from them. And the temptation to spend up and protect AWPs. It's one of those things that can unseat you just a little bit. Now, the days of the full eco, I've lamented about this so many times, but teams don't just full eco anymore. It's always a force or an upgraded pistol or a bit of utility or something like that. So he catches Shag's a little unaware. Pony-san does find one. And RCN up on the boost. Again, hot toes, but keeps his HP up there, and that's the most important thing. They'll try and get themselves in towards the bomb site and see if they can stick a defuse. Now, the smoke maybe would have given a bit of cover, but They knew where it was. Easy to just smash bullets through there. Had the numbers to deal with those wrapping around. Now we're in a situation where TSB couldn't get the full buy-in, but they are going for a glass cannon AWP. Bit utility. No head armor, but not an issue. Everything on the 4Elements side, it's one shot to the head equals death regardless. So does you no favours. That extra $300 you can use to get yourself an extra piece of utility. It's probably the better investment in this situation. You see that utility dwindling away over towards the A site. Trying to slow up as things are a little light. Danica gets one over towards the ramp. Danica gets a second as well. The glass cannon doing some good work. That's two, and Shags able to find rest as well. Shags gets a second on Rixor. Two players trying to throw misdirection over towards the A site. Nothing doing from that though. Fishy on his own. Just get one. Catches Danica in the leg, trying to retreat. Bomb in his sights, 20-odd seconds left to go. Switches it up for the AK. Abby brings it home. TSB pick up the win. 16-11, I believe that was in the end, and fair play. That was a good job from those guys in the end. Good performance, narrow victory on the T side. As I say, I think quite nicely set up by some individual brilliance from a few of those guys picking up 2-3 frags and clutching out a couple of rounds, which caused some problems for the economy for 4Elements that it was a little difficult for them to then deal with and recover from. When it came on to the T side, I think we really started to show the gulf in class between the two teams. Not that 4Elements were bad on their CT side. They had the right ideas and they had the right elements. I can't believe I'm dropping that. That wasn't intended. But yeah, they were generally going about things in the right way. But it was just a better performance from TSB in the end. The AWP was more powerful, was able to get involved in the action a lot more, a little more maneuverability from the CT side AWP. Danica able to pull off a couple of pretty big shots there to back up at the right times onto both bomb sites, and I think that ended up being the difference. Now, Train is one of those maps. If you have an AWPer that can excel with aggressive mobile AWPing, then it is a map where they can have an absolute field day, and you know that I think has something to do with why it ends up being one of my favourite maps. You can grab the AWP and really have some fun on both sides, and you know, even if you're not the best at the close quarters stuff, there are enough bomb trains around that you can kind of use those to your advantage and use the facilities a lot more. It buys you a little more time and a little more leeway than just standing out in the open, having a shot to make, missing your first one, and then leaving yourself at the whim of an AK. It's one of those. But that was fun. Enjoyed getting on my favourite map. I don't get to see Train anywhere near as much as I would like in general. So yeah, it's always one that I tend to gravitate towards. Thank you very much for watching. Anyway, this has been Crossy for Crossy Cars. As I say, my Twitter is here at mcrossy12. So drop a follow on that, and then that is the best way to keep in touch with any games that I'm covering. There will be some on this channel. There'll be some on another channel with co-caster I'm going to be working with from tomorrow once we figure out how we're doing that. And then I tend to get involved with certain organisations and leagues and a fair amount of charity stuff actually in the last couple of months, which is cool and interesting. So if you enjoy watching me deliver Counter-Strike to you, then there will be plenty of places other than this channel that you'll be able to see me in action as well over the next couple of months. But there's still going to be some here. So make sure that you throw a follow onto the Twitch channel and you will get a notification. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Apologies for the issues at the start with the stream dropping and my internet, etc. But crucially, we didn't miss any rounds of the live game, which is the #1 priority, which is good. Working through the problems, shaking off the rust from a couple of weeks off, and we're looking forward to plenty more Counter-Strike in 2021. Until next time, till tomorrow, actually. Catch you later.